Okay, so we have our first edition of Third Down Thursdays. MJ Hurley, Coach Bruce. I have the names up there so you can see fantastic things like that because I'm a big graphics guy now. In the last,
we're first class here.
Last 24 hours we became technology experts. I also have. We're gonna show my my second camera, which is now getting mad at me. But anyway. We got second camera, big setup here. My phone's getting mad at me, but it's fine. So, if we want to start off, Bruce, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You can go first.
All right. So, basically, my background in this isn't as extensive as MJ's is. Back in 2013, I actually was doing 7 years ago now.
Long time ago.
I was doing a podcast with it was called Chi-Town Sports Chat. It was fun. It was just me by myself talking about just current events in sports. It was pretty decent following, just friends and whatever. Nothing crazy. Just trying to share my opinions, my thoughts on whatever's going on. And then I saw what you were doing. And the reason why I know MJ is because him and I had a chance to coach him. How many years ago was that now? 5, 6?
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, we had the best team in Wheeling baseball history, underlevel.
Correct.
Freshman. So it was pretty cool. And then, but I saw MJ doing this and wanting to embark on his broadcasting and his sports career. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll dust off my podcast hat and see, what I can do to provide some kind of entertainment and, I don't know, just mess around.
Yeah.
Basically it.
Fantastic. So for those of you who are watching with Bruce, my name is MJ. I'm a sophomore sports communication major at Bradley University. I have too many minors that you don't care about.
No one cares.
Exactly. Nobody cares. I don't even really care some of the time. It's mostly to fill class space, to be perfectly honest, because I got to go 4 years. So, pick up some minors along the way. But as Bruce said, I'm embarking on a sports journey, broadcasting, writing, podcasting, radio-style Twitch TV shows now. So it's been a lot of fun, and we're going to do this. We'll have some guests on in the future, see who we can get to hop on here and cause some trouble. Bruce is going to rant about Chicago sports as much as he can. I'm a Packers fan, so I will try and provoke him as much as possible. Although I'm not like a White Sox fan. I'm not I don't like the Bucks, so I'm not going to provoke you too much.
I actually do like the Bucks, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Bulls fan, but I do like the style of play that the Bucks have.
You can't hate Giannis. I mean,
It's 100% true.
Yeah, it's hard to hate him. So, Bruce, our first topic today is the Bears and Mitchell Trubisky. Now, I'm going to let you start with this. Because you're going to be a little bit more opinionated about this than I am. I have my opinions as a Packers fan.
But you know what? It's nice that you have that opinion because you have that outside thought process.
Correct.
Not being clouded by being a Bears fan.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm clouded by my own quarterback controversy, but we'll talk about that later. So Mitchell Trubisky, yes, Mitchell Trubisky declined or had his fifth-year option declined. Thoughts, comments.
Well, obviously, it's totally okay. I'm totally okay with it. I actually think that it was a smart move by the Chicago Bears to decline it, only because that there hasn't been the performance that you would want from a franchise quarterback. As disappointing as that may be, I still personally don't think either one of the quarterbacks currently on that roster are able to, or are going to be that franchise changing or whatever. I think they're both game managers.
Yeah.
And while yes, Nick Foles is big tricky Nicky, we won't say his real nickname.
No, everybody knows what it is. It's fine.
That's fair. Slick Nick, baby, Slick Nick.
Yes.
There you go. But no, I just don't think that either one of those guys are are going to be that franchise quarterback. They're game managers.
Yeah.
The thought process of having their player's best game, throw that out, player's worst game, throw that out, and just take whatever's in that middle, that's what you have at quarterback right now. I will be honest. I'm a little biased toward Trubisky. I'm a Trubisky truther, as some people might say, because I don't know. He's a guy that I just want to see be successful. He's a guy that works hard. He's got the work hard mentality. He's always there. I mean, remember when he first got drafted? As a Packers fan, I'm sure you remember this.
Oh yes, I remember exactly where I was.
Wow. But no, honestly though, he ended up driving his old Toyota Camry to Hallis Hall, and that was a big deal because everyone thought that's like, oh, it's the more homey type, like cool guy,
right?
Down to earth. Down to earth is what I'm looking for. You don't see a big show coming up, and as a Chicagoan, as a Chicago sports fan, when you see something like that, it's cool. It's nice. It's exciting. You think to yourself, like, man, he's a hard hat lunch pail, come to work hard, grind it out, and get things done. And you want to be successful, but obviously the stuff on the field just didn't show.
Yes. And so my thoughts are, I've never been a huge fan of him. And I don't know. He barely played in college. I believe he started 8 games, you said?
8 games.
So
8 games.
He starts 8 games in college. The Bears, I mean, we know now what Mitchell Trubisky could have been in terms of the quarterbacks the Bears could have had. Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. I'm going to rub the salt in that wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have had them. And I don't know. I just have not seen him I don't even know what his best game would be. What?
It was against the Buccaneers. He threw for 6 touchdowns, I want to say, in that game. 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it was 6. And the Buccaneers defense has not been very good. Even right now, it's not going to be that good. So I don't know. I'm just not sold on Mitchell Trubisky. And
here's a question: are you sold on Nick Foles though?
No, I'm not sold on either of them.
Because I think an underlying issue with it is availability.
True.
Foles has not started or has not played in all 16 games as an NFL quarterback. He has not. Hold on, I had his. I think his career high in games played was 11, and that was like the Super Bowl year for the Eagles.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. His games played that year in 2013 was 13, and then he started 10 games, and that was his year that he had a career high in passer rating. He was a stud that year. That was the year he tied the record for 7 touchdowns in the game, and I think it was against the Raiders. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But,
so again, if you look at it that way, like those best, like you said, you throw out the best games, and I think those best games should be thrown out even more because they were both against terrible teams. And yes, you do need to beat up on the bad teams in order to be successful in the NFL, but they haven't done enough of that. And I've just seen, now I will give Mitchell Trubisky credit. I thought he was much better in year 1 than he was last year. He was hampered a lot by that shoulder injury last year. I liked him the couple years before more than I did last year, and I don't know how much that shoulder did affect him, because That's fair. You noticed, he was wearing that shoulder brace for the rest of the season. And if we go back to our days in baseball, we're taught very early on that our lead arm has a lot to do with where that ball goes, and it has a lot to do with how accurate and how powerful you are. And so I do think that if his left shoulder was still really hurt that much, I mean, he dislocated his shoulder. That's very painful. That doesn't go away right away. So right. I do think that if that was affecting him throughout the entire year, that does have a little bit of an impact. But still, perfectly healthy Mitchell Trubisky or perfectly healthy Nick Foles, I still put them as the 4th quarterback in that division.
Wow, that low?
Yes. I will take Matthew Stafford over either one of them.
That's fair. I would take Matthew Stafford over them right now.
Kirk Cousins is iffy. It depends on which Kirk Cousins I get.
I think Kirk Cousins is as much as a question mark as Trubisky and Foles. Because if you get the best Foles, is he better than Kirk Cousins?
Probably, because he's more stable. He's bigger. Kirk Cousins is a lot easier to sack. It's really hard to sack Nick Foles.
So what I think is actually pretty cool, and I was thinking about this too, and we were doing our pre-talk to the show. What should be interesting also is how Trubisky takes on this challenge.
Yes.
Because mentally, like, I think his biggest problem right now is getting through those hurdles mentally. Because obviously he puts in the work. We've heard about that through everybody. He puts in the effort. He's always at Hallis Hall. From what, like, you read anything, hear anything on interviews and whatnot. It's just interesting to see how he's going to respond.
Well, because you bring in a Super Bowl MVP, and that's quite the not
I'll
only
light a fire on your ass real quick.
yeah, it's quite the presence, and it's quite it's an emotional impact. Like, holy crap! I mean, not only do they bring in a Super Bowl MVP, but in the same offseason, they decline his fifth-year option. Now, the Bears said publicly, we're doing this so that he can get his money, which to me sounds like we're doing this so he can get his money elsewhere, not in Chicago. So, the
question is, what other teams would he go to?
I think there are plenty of teams that are starving for quarterbacks in the NFL.
That's fair.
I mean,
he's a backup, though. Anywhere else he goes, he'll be a backup.
Probably. And I think it will take a injury to someone in the NFL somewhere, whoever decides to pick him up, similarly to Nick Foles. Because Nick Foles was supposed to be a good starter early in his career, didn't really pan out. Then he goes through Kansas City, he goes through Philadelphia, and it was only because Carson Wentz got hurt. I mean, Nick Foles never would have played in a Super Bowl, and he never would have really... let's be honest, he never would have gotten paid by the Jaguars if Carson Wentz doesn't get hurt.
True. And if you remember, like, he went to St. Louis right after he left Philly the first time.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he got paid, but he didn't do anything.
Because that was right after St. Louis decided to end the Sam Bradford experiment. Thank goodness. That was painful for everybody involved, including Sam Bradford, because their offensive line sucked, so he got sacked a lot. But, I mean, if you think about it, okay, Nick Foles got paid a little bit early in his career. That contract, I don't know the details, but I'm sure it was nowhere near what his contract was with Jacksonville, which I think was like 4 years, $52 million, something like that.
Well, that was a year. That was only 2 years removed from them going to the Super Bowl. So
right. So neither.
Yeah, 2 years removed.
So here's my question: were you on the Cam Newton, Jameis Winston bandwagon? Would you have liked one of those two to come in instead of Nick Foles?
I was actually on the Cam Newton bandwagon.
Okay.
The problem, though, with Cam Newton, though, was they weren't able to get their doctors because of what's going on with COVID-19. They weren't able to get their doctors in to evaluate it. That's the biggest thing, and that's potentially the biggest reason why he's not being signed right now.
Yes. Although, I'm very interested for Jameis Winston, not only to play under Sean Payton for a year, but also now that he actually has eyesight. I know very well, personally, how much of a difference it makes in sports once you get eyesight.
That's fair.
It was crazy. All of a sudden, I'm playing baseball. I remember it so well. I'm 10 years old. I get glasses. And the first time I went out and hit with my glasses, I could actually see the ball. Like, I didn't realize how much of a disadvantage I was at. So the fact that Jameis...
I mean, you were a pretty decent hitter from what I remember.
Yes. Well, thank you. Yeah.
You were decent.
And it was funny because throughout my entire life, one of the things I was best at was drawing walks, even before I got glasses. So, I think
you hit pretty well. Like, you hit like 300-400 for us. And from what I remember...
I was the 4-hit. I was the 3-hitter? 4-hitter?
You were 3-4-5.
Yeah, depending on Kyle and Cooney.
Yep, Cooney.
Yeah. So, depending on those two, I was 3-4-5. So, I mean, I know firsthand how much eyesight makes a difference. So I'm very interested to see, especially if Drew Brees goes down for a couple of weeks again, what Jameis Winston does. Because, I mean, the weapons he's going to have...
That's a nasty team. That's going to be a nasty team.
It's disgusting. And I can't really think of a better backup quarterback other than probably Cam Newton. But there were the reports that I think are quite true, that Cam Newton's not taking a backup deal. That man is not going to settle...
He might sit out. He might sit out a year. I've heard reports about him possibly sitting out a year.
I believe truly that he is going to sit out until someone gets hurt.
I mean, that's a possibility, especially considering the fact in the NFL now, you need a quality backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like you said, he's not going to end up taking that deal. Taking a backup role, I should say.
Right, and that's what Dallas went out and did. They went out and got Andy Dalton, and from what I've heard,
text to Dak today. I saw it today on ESPN. He sent a text to Dak saying that he's ready for his second career or second part of his career.
Interesting.
Yeah. He today wasn't at the party with Dak that he had.
Dak didn't actually have a party. That was.
Oh yeah.
No, it was funny. So Jane Slater is the beat reporter for NFL Network for the Dallas Cowboys. And she actually held a little journalism class on Zoom. She held 3 journalism classes, and I was a part of the first one. It's like her guinea pig class. And so I listen to her podcast now, and she is obviously very familiar with the Dallas area. And she said she regularly goes to the restaurant that Dak supposedly had a party at.
The party?
Right. And she goes, yeah, that's what the restaurant looks like all the time. That's not, like, because there were drinks everywhere, and they have, like, fake drinks at every table. And so they tweeted out a picture, and Dak Prescott also tweeted out a picture because he had catered food to, like, 8 friends that night. And so on the same night, he tweeted out a picture having food. They tweeted out a picture with their restaurant looking like there was a lot of people, and so everybody freaked out. And Jane Slater was like, no, there were like 7 people at his house, and they ordered some food. She's like, I talked to Dak, he didn't have a party. I talked to the people at the restaurant, there was no party. Everybody just freaked out for no reason. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel better that Dak Prescott is breaking all the CDC rules.
That's funny. I'm sure Jerry Jones feels better about hearing that.
Oh,
What's
absolutely.
Crazy is he still hasn't got his contract. Why hasn't he got his contract yet? Man, we're totally going on tangent.
I don't care. We can go. We have an hour. We can go on as many tangents as we want.
Talking about the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, real quick, my fiance's dad is actually a huge Dallas Cowboy fan.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, man. Come on.
That's the one team I just can't root for them. I don't know.
Come on, they're America's team.
No, they're not.
They're really not.
They were America's team because Troy Aikman was popular and attractive when he was on the team, and they had a contract where they got all the nationally televised games. So of course it's the same as Notre Dame.
That's fair.
People only like Notre Dame because they were the only team on NBC for years.
Yeah, on NBC. Yeah.
And now that we actually have college football everywhere, nobody likes them.
That's true. Except for the OGs. The OGs still like
the people who like. Right, the people who went to Notre Dame or the people whose parents went to Notre Dame.
There's so many people hating on you.
I don't care. Go for it. Are there people chatting? They can hate on me. No, they're not.
That's funny. But no. To go back to the Bears. Speaking of the Bears, I want to actually, dude. So
give us the schedule.
Yeah, guys, got the schedule for the Chicago Bears.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. I don't know what that was.
I have no idea what that was.
All right, so I don't know. Do you want to go through a game by game? And sure. As a Packer fan, you can give your prediction.
Yeah.
As a Bears fan, the true person, the correct person in this. I'll give my opinion.
Okay, so here you go through every game. I'm gonna mentally keep track of what the record I think is, and I'll tell you after you're done bandwagoning over here.
All right. First game, they're opening up against the Detroit Lions at Detroit. I'm saying win.
Okay.
Then they're home the next following week against the Giants. I'm saying win, although Saquon Barkley is still scary as all hell.
Oh, he's terrifying.
Next game is at Atlanta. I think that's a win. I do. Atlanta isn't very strong, but they got Matty Ice still, so.
Still scary.
And Jones, and Julio Jones, stud.
And now Todd Gurley.
Yeah, but is he healthy?
Yeah, he is. He got a good deal. He wouldn't have gotten that much. I don't remember how much money, but he wouldn't have gotten that much money from Atlanta if he wasn't healthy. And he signed right away. Fair
enough, but I'm still gonna say it. Oh, I don't know, man. No, I'm talking about Gurley. I'll say win. Screw it. I'll say win.
Okay.
So following week, home against the Colts. So that's week 4. I'm gonna say loss. That's their first loss against the Colts. While Phillip Rivers doesn't scare me as much, they're a solid coach team, and I don't know, they were able to weather the storm with Andrew Luck suddenly retiring last year.
It was very impressive.
Yeah. So, and then the week after that is, here we go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Thursday Night Football, short week, everything.
Ooh.
At home at Soldier Field, ready to go. Gronk's going to bring that championship belt, and they're going to win. That's
okay.
The Buccaneers are.
Right, I assumed. I was going to be very upset if you chose.
Unfortunately. So it's 3-2 right now. I'm saying 3-2.
Yeah.
And then they're at Carolina. I'll go 4-2. And they're at they're at LA. Man, I almost got to an old school thing. I almost said St. Louis Rams.
Oof.
Where'd that come from?
Yikes.
And then they're at LA against the Rams. I'll say that's a loss. So where we at? I can't count. Where we at? 4. It's 5-4.
4-3.
5-4. No, that's not 4-3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can't count.
It's okay.
4-3.
I got you.
And then they're home against the Saints. That's a loss. 4-4. Then they're away against the Titans. The Titans now, mind you, like they're a beast of a team.
Yup.
That defense is stacked.
And Derrick Henry is going to run through whoever you think can stop him.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying win for the Bears. Oh, curveball, baby.
Okay, wait, hold up. I got to go to... where is this?
So that's week 9. So 5-4. And then they're home on Monday Night Football against the Vikings. Now, keep in mind, a lot of outlets are picking the Vikings to win that division. I don't know if you've seen. I've seen some people picking the Vikings. Yes, picking the Vikings to win the NFC North.
So you have them at 5-4 right now?
Yeah, 5-4. Going into the Vikings game, 10th week of the season. I'm going to say Monday Night Football.
In
in
Minnesota?
No, it's home against.
It's home.
The
Okay.
Bears do well against the Vikings at home.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say win.
Okay.
6-4. 6-4 going into the bye week, week 11. Then coming back after the bye, they're at Green Bay against the Packers. It's on a Sunday Night Football game. Bam, 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 bam. All right, I'm gonna go. Geez, at Green Bay. You know what? I'm gonna say loss. It pains me to say it.
Smart man.
It pains me to say it. All right, but that's a loss. So we got 10. So they're 6-4, 6-5. Then the following week they got the Lions 7-5 to win that game. Then they got the Texans 7-5. That could be an interesting game if Trubisky's starting. That could be an interesting game against the Texans.
Yeah.
The Trubisky Watson Bowl.
Another reminder of what you could have had.
Until we win. Because I honestly think that their coach is an absolute freaking asshat. I'm sorry, I said it.
He's a bad GM, but he's not a bad coach.
Okay, fair. I think coaching and GM, that should be completely two separate things.
Unless your name is Bill Belichick.
Unless your name is Bill Belichick.
Then I will let you decide. You can pick whoever you want.
Fair. Anyway, so the Texans, I'm actually going to say win.
Okay.
Then they're at Minnesota. I'll say loss. So what do we got? I even lost track. Hopefully you kept track. And then at Jacksonville, that's a win. And then home against Green Bay. Honestly, I actually do think that that game is going to determine the Bears' playoff hopes this year.
Probably.
The last game of the season against the Packers, the Chicago Bears win against the Packers to get into the playoffs.
So that puts them at 10-6.
10-6.
I have 7-9.
Woo, 7-9. Okay, you want to go through? I don't know if we want to go through all of them again.
I don't remember all of them. I disagreed with the Texans one. I think I disagreed. I think through the first 4 we had the same record. I just had I had them 2-2 through the first 4. I think
you had losing against the Falcons.
Yeah, I had them losing against the Falcons, and then I had them losing their 2 away games, I think.
So you have them opening up against Detroit? You have them losing to Detroit?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Detroit had a very good draft.
That's fair.
And they now have a lockdown corner for your lack of a good receiver.
He's a rookie. Allen Robinson's a stud.
Okay, Okuda will lock down Allen Robinson.
I would love that matchup. I'm totally okay with seeing that.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm totally okay with that.
Okay, so let's move on.
You're gonna get me heated, then you're gonna make a change. That's cool.
Yes, I am. It's my show, so
that's fair.
Okay, so we're gonna move on real quick to the prospect of baseball, we not only have currently the Korean Baseball Organization, which has been fantastic. I don't know if you've watched any of it. I've stayed up way too late watching it.
I was here and there. I actually turned it on the other day and saw the Sunday night baseball guys doing a little blurb on it.
Yeah.
And honestly, they were just happy to see baseball back on, and I don't blame them.
Absolutely. I think it's a very interesting league. I talked about this for my video tomorrow as well, that I think it's just very important that not just we have live sports, but it's also really cool for like the international community, because South Korea does not often get international attention other than the World Baseball Classic and the Little League World Series. And so just for that country as a whole, it's very important, and it's very cool for them to get international attention for what's probably going to be about a month at least. And I really do think that they're going to get some decent viewership going forward. I think some channel is going to pick up the KBO, especially if Major League Baseball doesn't return in July.
I think it helps. I think it helps with providing another opportunity for those minor league teams that are actually getting cut from Major League Baseball. Yep. because of what's going on with finances. Again, it's another outlet for potential players to go overseas. Granted, I mean, who was playing over there? You had Manny Ramirez that was playing over there, yep, like years ago, in his like low to mid 40s, hitting like 350.
Yeah.
And it just gives another area where players can go develop, be scouted, and come over. And to go along with what you were saying too, having that on and having the potential of international scouts, seeing them more, and I think them being more widely seen is a good thing. Anytime you have that opportunity. Now, mind you, that that's on that part. On the other part of being selfish and a baseball fan, I love seeing baseball. I don't care it's, who it is. Obviously, I'm a huge Cubs fan, as you can see behind me. But I think that just having any kind of live sports is just great, and it provides us an opportunity to kind of break away from what we're going through today.
You know what I love about the KBO is the bat flips.
Oh, yes. They love that bat flip, baby. They're just...
You know how angry teams would get if guys in the major leagues hear bat flips like that?
Oh, they'll get earholed.
We thought Jose Bautista in 2015 in that ALDS game was bad against Texas. Oh, my gosh.
No, you're right. You're right.
It would be... I mean, that's why I love it personally, because they're so animated, and there's also just such a level of respect at the same time. Like, when there's that animated and that excited nature in a player, like when Yasiel Puig first came to the MLB, people thought he was being disrespectful. That's just the way they played the game in Cuba, where he was from. And so, but he didn't have that. He didn't show that element of respect. I'm not going to say he wasn't respectful. He didn't show the element of respect at the same time. But the Korean baseball players will bat flip, and then they'll like recognize the pitcher when they get to home plate and like show respect to him. Something else is very interesting. In Korea, they don't ask the umpire for time. They ask the pitcher.
That's interesting, and I think that goes. I think that's also another respect thing too.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's basically saying like, yes, the umpire has authority, but like this is between us. This is like we are the ones in control, and I want to make sure that you're okay with it before I actually take time. Like it's in Major League Baseball in the United States, it's like a strategy, and I did this plenty of times. Like I'm trying to piss off the pitcher, and I'm trying to get in his head by stepping out as close as I can to when he was going to start to try to get him out of his rhythm. They don't do that in South Korea. It's so much more respectful, but at the same time, the game is so much more exciting because they're so animated. I think it's just very interesting to see because we're so used to the American style of baseball.
It's the culture that's been made from previous generations that have played the game of baseball here in America.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the prospect of There was the report by Trevor Plouffe, which has been sort of confirmed, sort of not, that baseball may return with a spring training 2.0 on June 10th, and then with the 4th of July triple header nationally televised Cubs, Cardinals, Giants, Dodgers, and Yankees, Red Sox.
The prospect of Major League Baseball coming back, we talked about this already. I'm totally on board with it. Obviously, that there's going to be a lot smarter people making the decisions aside from my own opinion.
Right.
You can have a lot smarter people deciding what they're going to do with regards to testing, what they're going to do with regards to the necessary social distancing. Even if they're playing those games with the empty ballparks, which is what's been reported, empty ballparks. They've been saying that they're going to play in their home stadiums, which honestly, walking down by Wrigley Field, just hearing, and you're not going to hear the crowd if they end up not having fans, but just hearing like the bat, the hit to the bat, or anything like that. I think that's huge. I think it's great. I think that's going to be something that's going to just provide, again, what I said earlier, provide us with an opportunity to get the hell away from what's going on. And at the end of the day, that's what we all like to do with sports. And while, yes, we enjoy it, and others bet on it, you just enjoy the prospect of being able to watch sports. And why not? Why not come back with America's pastime during 4th of July weekend, like with a big-ass triple header with like those teams and rivalry teams. And I love it. It just smells like hot dogs and beer right now.
It does. It is very exciting. So, as a Cubs fan, what were you expecting this season? I mean, I know hasn't exactly been what you guys wanted the last couple of years after the World Series in 2016. So, what were you expecting? What were your hopes?
Well, my hopes for this year, playoffs.
Yeah.
Every year. That's the reason why we got Theo Epstein. He was putting together teams to on the north side to get us to the playoffs every year. And then if there's anything less than that, I don't know why you call yourself a Cubs fan if you expect anything less. You have to have that. Their lineup's freaking filthy still.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, you're gonna have the potential of Chris Bryant leading off.
That's crazy.
Honestly, that does scare me a little bit, and just because you're taking away a big bat in the middle of your lineup.
Yeah.
But if you don't have anything else, that's the one thing I am disappointed about this offseason that they did not do. Is get a leadoff guy. Yeah. You guys haven't really had that since Dexter Fowler left. 100%.
So, where was I going to go with this? Oh, did you? I don't know if you saw at the beginning of the season, Major League Baseball in spring training was kind of copying the XFL. They had the players mic'd up. They had Bryant and Rizzo at one point. What did you think of that?
I thought that was such a cool thing. If you remember, I don't know if you saw it, but Anthony Rizzo ended up having being mic'd up in that game, or in one of the games. I can't remember who they were playing in that spring training game, but he was kind of like in jest. He was kind of messing around with what happened with the controversy with the Astros banging on the garbage can. And to hear Rizzo kind of jokingly say, I think the count was like 3-2 or 2-1. All I know is he was behind in the count, and he's like, I could really go for hearing a trash can right now. And honestly, I loved it. I thought it was like a cool concept. It gives players an opportunity to kind of like explain their in-game thoughts a little bit. Distractions. Some people, like, I don't know, old heads might actually, say something along the lines of, they shouldn't be distracting themselves from what they need to do or whatever. Honestly, I don't think that's going to be a huge case. A lot of times players have cards in their back pocket of the scouting report. Yeah. So you can just do a real quick look, boom, and then do whatever adjustments that you have to do. Yeah. I love it, though. I don't think, well, okay, because here, if, let's say it is a distraction, right? Chris Bryant is distracted by talking on TV. He's not contractually obligated to talk while he's in the batter's box. He can just make little comments as he, after the pitch, step out, take the 1 foot out, make a couple comments, step back in. Like, he doesn't need to actively be commentating as much as a broadcaster would be. He's not contractually obligated to do so. It's just a nice little insight even to the little things they're mumbling to themselves as he's trying to leg out a double. Like, I think that's what people want to hear. So I would argue that it's not really going to be a distraction. I know what you're talking about, and I recognize that, but I think
if a player is feeling distracted, they just won't talk until they have an opportunity to talk. And I think you even saw that with Bryant and Rizzo. I mean, they weren't talking while the pitcher was in his windup. Like,
it was great though. It was so great.
Yeah.
But you know what it is too, and I think a lot of it's to do with pulling a younger audience, and
Definitely.
a lot of it is also, it's humanizing the player. It's pulling in a younger audience. I'm sorry, and I don't know. In a way, it's a marketing tool that Major League Baseball can use, like I said, but also for the players. It's a marketing tool for the players. Obviously, like as a sports fan, you know who Mike Trout is, but there's going to be like plenty of people out there right now that can walk right past him and have zero idea.
Thank you.
Who he is.
I talk about this all the time. It drives me insane how awful Major League Baseball is at marketing. And here's the reason: because people cannot use their videos. So if I were to put a video on YouTube with a baseball clip, there's like a 50% chance Major League Baseball finds it and takes it down. Like, they literally have people who work for them that is their job, is to find people who post clips of baseball without authorization and take it down. Whereas you see, before an NFL game, you see like, the NFL copyright, it cannot be used without authorized use or permission.
Right. The NFL.
Right. And nobody cares. No, the NFL has never... You know how many full NFL games you can watch on YouTube? Same with basketball.
I love it.
And if you try to find a full baseball game on YouTube, nope, that doesn't exist. That's not a thing, because they are so crazy about it. And what they wanted to do, it was not a bad concept. They wanted to centralize their content and have it so that people had to pay for it so that they could make money. But I think they didn't realize that people don't love baseball that much. Mm-hmm. People don't watch baseball. I would say a very large majority of our country does not sit down and watch an entire baseball game. If it's on, we'll catch...
Background noise.
Right. If it's on, we'll catch some of the game, and it's background noise. But the only time we really sit down and watch an entire baseball game is if we go to a baseball game. So it's very different than the NFL and the NBA. People sit down on a Sunday, or people sit down during the NBA playoffs to watch the entire game. And the only time they leave their couch is during the commercial or during a timeout. And
it's also because of the duration of the game. The duration of the game in baseball is a lot longer than it is for NFL and also for basketball.
Right. And so I think what Major League Baseball needs to do is market their players. Because like you said, Mike Trout could walk up to my front door and knock on the door, and my mother probably would not know who it is. But if Aaron Rodgers walked up to the door, my mom would know exactly who it is. So, and the same thing with probably LeBron James, people like that. They could walk up to people on the street and everyone knows who LeBron is. Everyone knows who Tom Brady is, but nobody knows who Mike Trout is. People don't know the stars in Major League Baseball, and that is why viewership and attendance is declining. Not the pace of play, not the length of the game. It's that
it's a marketing thing, huh? That's what you think? It's a marketing situation?
Absolutely. Why do we watch sports? We watch sports because it's a good story. Even what we're going to get to in a little bit, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. It's the story. It's the people. It's the personalities. You growing up in Chicago in the Michael Jordan era, you got attached to the person and the player. So it's hard to get attached to only a player, especially if he's not on your team. You get attached to the person LeBron James is. He's a fantastic father. He's a fantastic businessman. He didn't have a father figure in his life, and he didn't get in trouble in a bad area. So that's what you get attached to, even if you don't think about it. That's what you get attached to. People like stories. And so sports is just one massive storyline. That's why we watch sports reporting and all of that, because it's not necessarily... that's why people love off-season and free agency so much, because it's a storyline. Oh my gosh, who's going to team up together? Who's going to go where? Is there bad blood between Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears? All of that.
It's the best reality TV we have.
Exactly. It's way better than the Kardashians.
Oh, don't bring that up now. Come on.
I had to. But that's my point, is Major League Baseball, I know nothing about Mike Trout other than the fact that he's from Philadelphia. I think. And I'm not even positive on that. He goes to Eagles games a lot. That's the only reason I know that. And why do I know that? Because the NFL posts that Mike Trout is there. Major League Baseball doesn't post that.
That's fair.
When all this... You know how many celebrities are at LA Dodgers games every single night? You wouldn't know unless you watch TV. unless you watch the broadcast. There's also the fact that if you're not a team like the Dodgers, Yankees, or Red Sox, you're not on national TV almost ever for baseball because of their contracts. So like the Oakland A's have the contract with Comcast in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and they are only allowed a certain amount of games off of that network throughout the entire year.
Well, it's the same thing that the Cubs had with WGN when games were being broadcast. Obviously, the Cubs are a completely different animal because that's a marquee team.
Right.
But it's very much a similar situation. And currently, right now, with the Chicago White Sox, and now, mind you, I'm not entirely sure about this.
Yeah.
But all of their games are being broadcast on Comcast now.
Yes, I believe so.
So I don't know if that's a contract. I mean, obviously, it is a contracted thing, but I don't know if they have it has a loose enough grip on, if Comcast has a loose enough grip on the White Sox to let them go to like 10 to 15 nationally broadcast games.
Right. And
now, mind you have to have some success for the nationally televised, ESPN and all that to actually want to show them. But it's just an interesting dynamic, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I really do think that, and I've studied this a lot. I'm in a comm theory class right now, and one of the things we looked at, I did a deep dive into this, is not just the social media aspect. I understand that Twitter and Instagram or Facebook are not the end-all be-all of sports, and there are other ways that they market, and word of mouth ultimately is one of the most important things. But not only does Major League Baseball and their teams do a pretty poor job on social media, but also the national TV thing. Because if you think about it, we know that on a Thursday night from early September to basically New Year, if you sit down on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock, there's football. You know that, and that's just the way it is. And even basketball, they have much more consistent airing on TNT, on other networks. They have much more consistent nationally televised games, and they're much better at promoting it. Like, okay, this week these are the 3 nationally televised games we have. And other than Sunday Night Baseball for ESPN, which pretty much only is the Yankees or the Red Sox, I mean, for the most part, there are some exceptions, but for the most part, it's the Yankees or Red Sox playing someone or each other. So people don't know where to find baseball. And especially when sometimes you get your own market blacked out. If I want to watch on MLB Network and I want to watch a Cubs game, nope. Can't do it.
Nope.
So I really do think that is the biggest problem that Major League Baseball has to fix. I don't know when and if they're going to fix it, but I do think that is their biggest barrier to matching in sales, matching in popularity, the NFL and the NBA. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know if it ever will.
It won't.
Probably not. But fixing those problems would sure help. Let's just put it that way.
True.
So we have about a little over 15 minutes left. Let's move on to the Last Dance documentary. I will also
let's go.
I will let you take the lead here, as you are the one who actually lived through the Jordan era. So for somebody who lived through that era, how interesting is it, how fascinating is it to kind of see all the behind the scenes of something that you lived through?
Well, I honestly, it's a walk through memory lane for me, because seeing the person that I idolized as a kid, as a preteen or whatever, even now, I was talking to my fiance and I was texting friends. I was like, man, I feel like a 10-year-old watching as a 35-year-old again. It was just weird. Like I felt like just super young seeing Jordan. Anytime the guy talked, I was like sitting there. I'm like, everyone be quiet, just listen to him speak.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was great, man. Like I can still remember. So in elementary school, so here's a really crazy story. Some people may remember this. If any of my friends are watching from elementary school, if there is if they watch it later, we used to have to in 5th grade, when we graduated 5th grade. Back then, we didn't have graduation.
Right.
But we just had like something to memorialize our success in at the school.
Yeah.
And Ruby Raccoon, shout out, baby. On there though, you got to put something that's like memorable to you or something meaningful to you. And I ended up drawing the Chicago Bull logo. And on there, I put 72 and 10, and then I put the numbers 23, 33, 91.
Yep.
That's like, as a fifth grader, that was the 72-10 year. Obviously, that's the reason why I put it.
Yep.
Like, it was just such a cool thing to be a part of and witness as a kid growing up. Like, everyone's got Steph Curry, everyone's got LeBron James now, and respectively, they're great basketball players. But just being able to witness the greatness that we saw from Jordan for that amount of time. Like I said, there's all the time that he was playing, after games, before games, I would go out to my driveway and act like I was Jordan.
Yep.
All the time. And it was just a really, really cool thing to see and to watch it. You're reliving everything now. As an adult now, seeing all of the behind-the-scenes stuff is what amazes me, because
it's so interesting.
100%. And I didn't really realize the amount of headbutting, for lack of a better term, that the front office and Jordan had. I can remember it slightly as, like, as a kid, but I don't remember it being to this degree. And I think that's also because of my understanding now, more so of business, more so of sport, and just being an adult. But damn, man, like, watching these episodes, it's so much fun. And to be honest with you, I actually want your opinion too, though, because, like, dude, you never lived back then. You weren't around, obviously. Nope. So what's your thought process? I know we talked a little bit about this before, and you were like, I don't care. You have to care. It's Jordan, dude. So
when I say I don't care, I mean I don't care about, like, the Jordan versus LeBron debate. I love the documentary. I love seeing everything just because of my fascination with sports and all of that. I do think that if we switch roles, right, we put LeBron in that era, Michael Jordan now, I do think that the conflict between Michael Jordan and the Bulls would be very known right now because of social media and everything. Exactly. And so that's what fascinates me, is what would have happened to that team if social media existed? Like, if we put Dennis Rodman then on Twitter, if Dennis Rodman was on Twitter, do you know how fast that team would have blown up?
It's great. Dennis Rodman, like the episode of Dennis Rodman going to Vegas because he needed a vacation. Jordan just be like, no, the F he's not.
Yeah. Jordan goes to Vegas and pulls him out of his hotel room by his nose ring.
See, that's actually a false narrative.
Really?
He did pull him from his. He actually pulled him from his apartment that was close to the Berto Center, and because he was back from Vegas, and but he still wasn't at practice. And since his apartment was close to the Berto Center at the time, Jordan left to the Berto Center, and I dragged him from his apartment and said, "Get your ass back onto this court. You're back in now."
Yep.
So it's I love it, man. Like, it's a for sure every Sunday watch. I actually watch the episodes twice because I'm just a nut like that. Because I'll be a fan. I'm a fanboy. I'll totally watch it on that Sunday or on the Sundays when they're live, and I'll enjoy it. And then I'll watch it maybe halfway during the week while I'm working out, just to remember, be like, oh, I didn't catch that part, or I didn't catch that. One of the interesting things, though, that I didn't realize as a kid watching the Bulls is that series that they had against the New York Knicks, and how the New York Knicks went up 2-0 on the Bulls. I don't remember any of that. I don't, not at all. I just remember the Bulls winning. That's all I remember.
Interesting.
But the fact that this past week they showed them going up, or the Knicks going up 2-0, and the Bulls coming back to win it, I think that's incredible, and it just speaks to the character of that team at the time.
For sure.
To talk off of that, I'm totally just interjecting everything now.
No, go for it.
But dude, you know the person. I don't even know if you know who this basketball player is or was. I could not stand John Starks at all.
I've heard the name. I can't picture him.
So he was always assigned to guard Jordan. Or Pippen when Jordan was on the bench. Yeah. But he was always assigned to guard Jordan when the Bulls faced the Knicks. Always. Okay. And honestly, he's kind of the type of person or type of basketball player that you would want on your team and cheer for. Yeah. But he's that guy that you hate when he's on the other team.
So Draymond Green, continue.
That's but no, I could not stand him at all. He was like just he was a villain. That's the best way to put it. He was a villain for the Chicago Bulls and their fans during the course of that time against the Knicks. Now, if you want to move on to later stuff, it ended up being Reggie Miller.
Yes.
But that's a different topic. But yeah, man.
So my opinion on all of it is, like I said, I don't really care about like the greatest of all time debate. I think that's extremely arbitrary in any sport. Sure. Because eras are different, the style of play is different. I mean, if you think about it, Larry Bird didn't even have the 3-point line for all of his career. It's ridiculous how many points he would have scored, probably, if he had a 3-point line for all of his career. So numbers like that are very odd. Even Wilt Chamberlain, if you go back and look at video of Wilt Chamberlain playing, it may be terrible video quality, but you can see him shooting from what is clearly a 3-point range. And he's known as one of the best rebounding and inside...
You can too.
What?
At the time, he would just camp out in the lane, too. Yeah. He would just camp out and call for the ball and just take it. At the time, there was no 3 seconds, so why not?
So there were a lot of changes like that. There's also the fact that, they just had different competition. Here's the question I have for you. I don't remember it as well. I've seen the documentary, but I don't know as much about the era. Was there ever a team that Jordan had to face consistently like LeBron has had to face with the Warriors? That is my biggest question.
If you want to, of course. If you like a team that he had get over the hump of,
yes,
it was the Detroit Pistons. Okay. That team, the early '90s Pistons, late '80s, early '90s Pistons with John Salley, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars. Yeah. That team was ridiculous, and honestly, I never really had a chance to. I don't remember at the time. I was only like 5, 6, 7 years old.
Right.
But I do know that that team was just insane. They're a ridiculously good basketball team. They had the Jordan rules. They essentially would hard foul Jordan, and they went over that in the documentary.
Yeah.
They would hard foul Jordan all the time. I was reading a book. His name escapes me now, but Michael Jordan's trainer. I can't remember his name. It's about me. But he ended up talking about in his book called Relentless. He ended up talking about how Jordan, after losing to them in the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals, he ended up training his ass off, just getting bigger. And they talked about that in the documentary too.
He hated losing.
I'm sorry?
He hated losing.
Oh yeah, he did, and that's how it should be.
Good, yeah.
I love the fact that they talk about load management too, because you know why? Because that shit should not exist. Excuse my language. They should not have load management. I'm sorry. Jordan knew at that time, and even LeBron now, I think he does a very good job of there's a few games he's taken off, but I think they're legit reasons. But he's talked about wanting to play every game because he doesn't know when he's going to end up being his last game, and you don't know if these fans are going to, these fans want to come. They come out to see you. Yeah, essentially what I'm saying. And Jordan knew that, and not only that, but if you could play, I'm going to play. Yep. There's a saying anytime, any place, any condition, just go out and do it, baby.
Absolutely. The quote I loved, and I think it was from one of the first 2 episodes. Jordan said, and it was when they went and played overseas in France. He said, I believe he said something along the lines of, "They come to see me, and I don't know if they're ever going to watch me play again. And so I'm always going to play like everybody in the stands has never seen me play basketball and never will see me play basketball again." And I think that's not just good to apply to basketball, but just to everything. Even in us doing a little show, however many people end up watching this entire thing on Twitch, on YouTube when I put it up afterwards, I think who knows how many times people are going to watch us talk about sports. Who knows if they have before, and who knows if they will again. So let's put out the best content we can, and whether it be on the field, off the field, stuff like that, I think that is just a very impressive mentality, and I think that showed in the way he played. He never really took even a possession off.
No, never. And it got to the point. It was to the point as a kid watching him that he was Superman. You would think that he was going to score every time he touched the ball.
Yep.
And when he didn't, you're shocked.
You're really were. Are you okay?
Who, me? Yeah, I'm still there.
No, I was saying you're when he doesn't score, you're like Michael Jordan. Are you okay?
Sure. Yeah, my bad. I thought it was an internet thing.
No, you're good. You're clear.
But yeah, no, 100%. I thought the same exact thing. But yeah, man, it was just it's a fun time. It's totally bringing me back to my childhood. Next week I'll probably rock a Rodman jersey even.
Ooh. Fancy. I
gotta
like it.
find that thing. I have no idea where that thing went.
Yikes.
But yeah, it's been fun. And to be honest with you, I was actually a big time fan of Dennis Rodman too. I liked Pippen, but I wasn't like that as huge of a backer of Pippen. I loved Jordan. That's an obvious, but I was a huge Dennis Rodman fan. Again, because I gravitated a lot to those hardworking, bust your ass type basketball, football, whoever players. And I thought Dennis Rodman was that guy. And granted, like, off the court stuff, controversial, whatever. But as a kid, the only thing I saw, the only thing I paid attention to, because there was a lack of social media and a lack of the amount of people getting knowledge on what was going on off the court.
Right.
I just paid attention to the stuff that was on the court, and I loved what I saw. Yes, was he a little flamboyant? It was great. The hair, everything, the earrings, whatever. But the way he would rebound, kicking his legs, and just all that stuff. It's fun. I loved it. I can remember a junior high basketball game I played in, and I got a rebound, and a kid got in my face to like start pressing me. And at the time, junior high, they have rules against times to press in junior high.
Yes.
And I got the rebound. I turned, the kid was up against me, and I waved my finger in his face, and I was like, "There's no effing press!" Like I don't know. It was bad. It was stupid, but it was just fun. And I think that a lot of the guys that I played basketball with then were very much similar in that, like, we wanted to model our games off of the Chicago Bulls and what they provided. No one wanted to be Steve Kerr and just shoot threes, but they wanted to be Michael Jordan and shoot fadeaways. They wanted to be Dennis Rodman, get ridiculous rebounds. They wanted to play defense like Scottie Pippen. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think specifically with Dennis Rodman, he's so relatable because he didn't even play basketball until college, I believe. He ended up getting like he grew like 8 inches. I saw like 30 for 30 for him. Yeah. And he grew like 6 to 8 inches, something outrageous between his senior and freshman year of college. I'm sorry. And even Scottie Pippen, he started off as the manager in college. He wasn't even on the team. It wasn't until he grew, again, like 6 inches in a summer that he was actually able to make the team and play, and then he was fantastic. But all of these guys are a testament. I mean, Michael Jordan had a lot more pure athleticism and was just a star from the beginning. But even Michael Jordan wasn't great in high school. It was once he went to college, he was fantastic. So all of these guys, I think they were very relatable, and I believe that that's one of the reasons they were so popular, is you could tell just from the media coverage and everything that they were very down to earth. Yeah, they liked going out and partying and gambling and all of that stuff, and Dennis Rodman was very flamboyant, but you could also just see that he was a real dude, and like you said, they just worked really hard no matter what.
Right, and one of the things actually what cracked me up about the documentary, and it wasn't this previous Sunday, it was 2 Sundays ago, was when they did more of a focus on Rodman. And don't ever do this, guys, whoever's watching this or listening. He got on his motorcycle, he chugged a Miller Lite, and he gave it to somebody, and jumps on his motorcycle and pulls away. I'm like, what?
Wait.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he is a very interesting personality.
Totally addicted.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
Yeah,
totally addicted.
So, a couple minutes left, Bruce. Any last comments on anything we've discussed today? Closing thoughts on The Last Dance? What you're looking forward to with that in the last couple episodes?
Crazy looking forward to it. I think the next episode that they're going to be doing is, from what I've seen in previews, is them talking with the Michael Jordan retirement stuff. That's what they're going to be going into the next few ones. I remember that too. I remember coming home from school, watching the news as like a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old. Come on. But I'd watch the news. It'd be the first thing that would be up. It would be like, is Michael Jordan returning? And I just remember the day that he announced that he was coming back. I just can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun. This was fun. It was good times. Obviously, with anything, there's going to be improvements from our communications, our ability to bounce things off of each other. As I felt that we've gone through this, we've gotten a little bit more loose. Yep. It makes it more fun, obviously, and for viewership as well. I don't know. Good stuff. Fun stuff. Let's go, baby.
Absolutely. We're going to
10-6 Chicago Bears. 10-6.
No. 7-9. 7-9. Next week we can talk about the Packers. You can go ahead and trash the Packers. A little bit of a role reversal. You can.
It's fair. We can talk about Jordan.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about Jordan Love next week. We'll talk some more Last Dance. See if we can get a friend on here for a little bit. We can harass them about whatever team they like. See what we can do.
That's fair.
Perfect. Okay, Bruce, it's been a wonderful time. Thank you for joining me, and we will be back here next week, Thursday at 5 p.m.
Yes, sir. Later, guys.